Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. It's been a while since we've seen you guys, and thank you for watching and subscribing to our channel. My name is Mark.
And I'm Cassandra.
And today we'll be doing a video about our NCLEX experience so that you guys can get some tips on how to study and what resources that we used. And so I hope that this video would be beneficial for you. The NCLEX is the National Council Licensure Examination for nurses. It is used to determine if you are competent to practice as a registered nurse here in America. It uses a computer adaptive testing method. It's an algorithm that is used to determine your level of competency based on how you answer the question. So the first question is generally very easy, and then if you get it right, you get a harder question. You get it right, you get a harder question. If you get it wrong, you get an easier question until it determines if you passed or not, if you're competent or not. The questions usually shut off. It's actually 265 questions, and it would shut off anywhere between 75 questions as a minimum or 265 questions. The length of the exam is 6 hours, and so if you've maxed out your 6 hours, it will shut off as well.
Okay.
Or if the computer determines that you are not competent at 75, it will shut off as well.
Right. And while you're doing your exam, not because the exam did not shut off at 75 questions, it doesn't mean that you didn't pass, right? Don't panic.
No.
Just as Mark Klingnick used to say when I used to use him, you're still in the game.
You are.
Right? So just continue to do what you're doing and treat every question as if it's the first question. Focus, think, right? Use strategies. Don't panic. Don't give up. Actually, from my exam, I didn't cut off at 75. I went all the way up to 175 to 180 thereabout, and I was glad it didn't shut off at 75 because the first 75 questions were so difficult. Like I felt like it was really hard for me. So I'm glad it didn't shut off at 75 and I went up to 180. I remember I'm still in the game and I used the strategies, I'm focused. So don't panic.
For my exam, actually, I shut off at, I think it is either 107 or 109. I think it's 109. But when at 75, I actually went to the bathroom. This is going to sound really funny. I went to the bathroom and I cried and I prayed and I did some jumping jacks because I was really, really tired that day. And I went back in, and then at 109 it just shut off, and I thought that I was like, oh my God, I thought I failed this.
Right.
But I didn't.
Like a lot of persons who we talk to who have passed the exam, when you ask them, they say at the end of the exam they felt like they failed. Don't self-evaluate, period. Just wait until you get your results.
Yes. Some of the tips that we can also give you is to make sure you manage your stress. A lot of persons have anxiety and stress just thinking about exams. I had a little bit of anxiety, and so I tell you, make sure you sleep. Sleep is very important. If you get adequate amount of sleep, like 7 to 8 hours. Some persons it might be 5 to 6 hours.
Right.
But make sure you sleep so that you'll be able to retain the information. Also, you may need to speak with someone. Maybe you have a support person, or if you don't, maybe you just have to record yourself with some positive words so that you can listen to on your daily basis. Make sure you pray. If you're that person that prays, pray and meditate. Use some breathing strategies. These things will help you not only while you're studying, but throughout the exam. As I said, I told you earlier on that I prayed. I went to the bathroom and prayed when I was experiencing stress, because that's something that I did throughout my studying period.
For me, I just basically made sure I had support. So my husband was there with me. A few friends, like really close friends who knew I was doing the exam, they would text you and check up on you. How are you doing? How are you coping? Just having that support system, that worked for me.
And some persons may need medication. So if you're that person that may need anxiety meds, please get the anxiety meds way before, because you don't want to take that right before your exam, because you're going to feel a lot different. You have to kind of like stay in your routine.
Right.
That's very important.
So practically how you coped with stress before the exam is what you're going to do in the exam. I did the praying too in the exam. Yes, I took a break and I went in the bathroom and I'm like, God, you really need to help me with this. So if that works for you, you can do that too. It helps.
I know persons who have written the exam 6 times, 5 times, and on the 6th time they actually passed. And so you learn from each experience. So don't think, oh my God, I'm a total failure. As an international nurse, we get multiple chances. Yes, it might be difficult financially, but tell yourself that you're going to pass it the first time, and you will pass it the first time. And if you don't, you learn from your experience and try again.
Right.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. I agree. So I know it's not easy for those who have kids or for those who work full time. I mean, almost all of, well, I won't generalize, but a lot of persons who apply for the program to come here and study, who are taking the NCLEX, they're working full time. And it's not easy to find time to study and do everything else that you have to do. But you still have to set time to study. You have to create a study schedule. You have to have a study plan, and you have to stay committed to it.
Yes.
Right?
I agree.
So 2 to 4 hours per day for reading, remediating your questions, and doing questions. I did like 75 to 150 questions per day, and I had to find time to make sure I reviewed those questions. You have to review the rationale, not only for the incorrect questions, but also for the correct questions, because persons tend to focus on only those that they got incorrect, but you have to review the correct ones, because the rationale that you had in your mind that's the reason you got the question right may not be the reason you got the question right. So review all questions.
Yes. And also that when you review the rationales, it links the information, and so that you will be able to know why. And they have other topics that are in the rationales that you would cover.
Right.
So you gain extra information, and you
Right.
get to understand it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you that make sure sticking to your schedule, because like for me, I had 6 months to write the exam, and I tell you, the first 3 months I did nothing. And then the last 3 months, like I started cramming. And so the night before my exam, I crammed so much, and the day of it, I was a complete mess. Like my eyes was red. I got up feeling sick, and it was really bad. And I didn't know what to do, so I had to call my mom, and I prayed and stuff like that, but it was really terrible. And trust me, you don't want to go into that exam tired, because like that's how I was. So it was a very tedious thing. So I'm gonna encourage you as well to make sure take the time and study.
Right. And what else was I going to say? You have to organize your studying. So don't be studying pharmacology and pediatrics at the same time.
No.
Focus on pharmacology, do questions on pharmacology, read on pharmacology, review your questions on pharmacology. Try to master that area, then you move on to another area. I recommend using your exam strategies. When I was doing my exam, I found the Kaplan strategies to be very helpful, right? So reword your questions, eliminate the incorrect answers.
Don't predict your answers.
Right.
Don't draw from clinical experiences, because one of the things with that is in NCLEX, remember, it's research-based, evidence-based nursing. The ideal setting, you're not short-staffed as you would be in real life. You have everything. It's perfect. Remember, it's perfect. So don't draw from your clinical experiences, because you will get the question wrong.
Yes.
Even though what you're doing at the hospital may be right, but in NCLEX it's perfect. So there's no improvisation there.
And another strategy is you can look in the question to find cues to direct you to what the topic is, and then you can go back and answer the question.
Yes.
One thing I would say is, please do not take any question for granted. Treat every question like it's the only question you're answering. Don't ever just pick an answer.
No.
So if you go in the exam, you've never seen this topic before, you've never encountered anything surrounding the topic, draw for your test taking strategies. Don't just pick an answer.
Yes.
Never just pick an answer. If I had done that, then I'm sure I would have failed, because almost all the questions I saw, I never knew the answer offhand. I had to think through.
And the answer is in the question.
Right, it's there.
It's somewhere in there.
It's there. If you need more information concerning Kaplan test taking strategies, you can visit their website. I'm going to put the link in the description below. And also, I found Mark Klamick test taking strategies helpful as well. Everything about Mark Klamick, his whole video. I mean, I had a recording.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I got a recording and it was so helpful.
Yes,
I got it really late, really close to my exam, probably a week or two before my exam. I went through the whole recording, wrote down everything that Mark said, and I studied, and it helped a whole lot.
It does.
Right.
He breaks it down.
Yeah.
Really
and
good.
A lot of persons who we talk to who have done NCLEX and us too, we found UWorld to be extremely helpful. UWorld rationales were so great. They were thorough, and also UWorld had this exam. It was so long ago that I did NCLEX, so I don't remember properly, but UWorld had an exam that you could take just before you went into the NCLEX. So it's helpful, very helpful. UWorld, I use UWorld, Kaplan, and Mark Klamick.
That's what I use as well too. There's also others like Hesse and Saunders. Whatever you choose to use, just make sure that you're comfortable with it and you understand it. Don't use something that will keep you wondering. And these are the three that we use and it was very successful.
Oh, there's one more. YouTube. And you've done all that studying, it's time to do the exam. That it was, for me, I was really anxious. You can't help it. But as Mark did say, that there are ways to control your stress, ways to control your anxiety. Draw for all those strategies that you used to help before. The night before my exam, even though I wanted to study, I could not study. And that's a good thing, because that night you're supposed to sleep. You're supposed to rest the night before your exam. No studying. Put away the questions. Put away the books. Relax. And as international nurses, we don't have a car here. Well, some persons might rent a car, but just make sure that your transportation is prepared from the night before. I called a taxi service and I booked my drive, and I arrived at the exam 30 minutes before the exam. So you have to make sure you arrive early. And for those who are cold-natured like myself, please take a jacket. And inside the exam is really cold, and do not take a jacket that's complicated. No. Take a very simple jacket, because they're going to check your pockets and everything before you go in the exam, and you don't want that process to be too long. They're going to check every pocket.
If you're a person who likes to take exams early in the morning, take your exam in the morning. I took mine at 2, and I'm an afternoon person, and so that's when I took my exam. So it also depends on you. So you have that choice. Try to get the one that works best for you.
I'm a morning person, so I had to do the exam in the morning, get it over with. And also make sure that you bring the correct documents. They're going to take all your documents and everything that you have. Like if you bring snacks for persons who are diabetic, you can take a snack, and they're going to put it in a locker and give you a key. So if you take a break, you can always ask for it. And but I didn't really bring anything to eat. But if you're somebody who you have to take something to eat, please make sure that you bring that to your exam as well.
And you've got this. You can do this exam. As I said, believe in yourself that you can. We've given you a lot of tips throughout this video, and I know that you can do this.
I mean, I know it's not easy. It's easier said than done, because after the exam you feel like a lot of persons feel like they failed. I felt that way. Right? But as we said, it doesn't mean that you failed. Actually, the harder the exam felt, probably, it's more indication that you passed than failed. So, as Mark said, just forget about it.
Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I know that we have a lot of persons have questions. Please continue to send your questions. Sorry we weren't able to answer in a timely fashion before, but we will try to do so now. We have a few other videos that are going to be coming up, so look forward for them within the next coming weeks. And we look forward from hearing from you.
Yes. And the link for our email will be in the description below. So we look forward to hearing from you, as Mark said, and thank you so much for watching.
Bye.